Today we're making 2-ingredient cookies. Technically 4 ingredients because I'm adding 2 additional ingredients, but those are optional. Let's get started. You're going to need 3 very ripe banana and 3 cups of organic unsweetened coconut. Doesn't have to be organic, make sure it's unsweetened. Mash your bananas in a bowl and add your 3 cups of shredded coconut and give everything a nice little mix. I decided to add a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and about 1/3 cup of dark chocolate chips, but these 2 ingredients are totally optional, but preheated 350-degree oven. Place these on a lined baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Bake for 20 to 25 minutes and enjoy. Love you.
The highly anticipated and requested blueberry cookie, which I've been holding out on you guys for months. Now, what's crazy is I'm teaming up with the actual Blueberry Council for this recipe, and the real star of this recipe totally is the frozen blueberries. You thaw them until they're nice and jammy, and then just add them in with the wet ingredients. The frozen blueberries are the magic ingredient here. They create structure and lift in the cookie, but also keep it plant-based and add a softness that you just can't replicate. It tastes as if a blueberry muffin were a cookie. I mean, if you've seen my blueberry pancakes or my blueberry muffins, you know I'm a huge fan of making things naturally blue. So frozen bloobs are a staple in my kitchen, and even if you aren't baking with them, they're like nature's like little tiny popsicles. And can we just like drop a comment to let the Blueberry Council know that we are blueberry stands?
For their gigantic cookies. And it doesn't seem like we'll be able to go there anytime soon, so let's try to make it at home. Yeah! Starting off, get yourself some brown and white sugar and mix it together with cold butter that's cut into small cubes. Slowly add in your eggs, and once we get it to an acai bowl consistency, we're gonna add in our flour, cornstarch, baking soda, and a little bit of salt to help us accentuate the flavors of the cookie. Accentuate? I like that. Okay, for this specific cookie, we're using walnuts and chocolate chips. Fold that into your dough, and once we form our cookie, we need it to be the size of a baseball. Now, the recipe says to cook at 410 for 10 minutes. I did that and it was too raw. I would recommend 350 for 15 minutes. Feel free to experiment.
These M&M cookies may be the best cookie I've ever made, and they're so easy to make. 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup brown sugar, 3/4 cup of sugar. Cream it together till it's nice and fluffy. Mix in 2 eggs and a big dash of vanilla. Add in 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Stir it really well together until a beautiful dough forms, then add in 2 cups of M&Ms. And try not to eat all of them before the recipe. Portion your dough out into little balls and then top with even more M&Ms. I also dipped a few in M&Ms just to see what would happen. Bake for 10 minutes until they're golden brown. There we have delicious M&M cookies. These honestly are incredible. You've got to try this recipe.
According to this video, you can make red velvet white chocolate chip cookies out of red velvet cake mix and only 3 ingredients. Grab your red velvet cake mix. Then we're gonna grab 2 eggs. Grab your butter. Melt that butter. Pour it straight over here. Stir this together until it fully combines. Grab white chocolate chips. Stir that up. Scoop up balls of your cookie dough. Place them onto a parchment paper lined baking sheet. You're going to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes. Ooh, look at that.
These s'mores cookies are the best cookies you will ever taste, I promise. Cause summer's not over yet. 1.5 sticks of butter, melt it down. Mix the cooled butter with 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/3 cup of white sugar. Once it's nice and fluffy, crack in 1 egg and 1 egg yolk along with a teaspoon of vanilla. Then added 1 3/4 cup of flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Once the beautiful dough forms, add in a half cup of chocolate chips and mix. Crush up 4 graham crackers and fold it into the cookie dough. Take a scoop of cookie and stuff it with some chocolate and then add a marshmallow on top. Chill the cookies for about 30 minutes and then bake at 350 for 15 minutes. There we have s'mores cookies. These are honestly one of my favorite cookies of all time, and you don't even need a fire to make s'mores.
Gingerbread brownie cookies, because I thought regular gingerbread might be a little boring and I love chocolate. So to make this, you want to combine your oat flour, cacao powder or cocoa powder, baking powder, gingerbread spice, and salt, and just whisk to combine until completely smooth and no clumps remain. In another bowl, we're going to beat organic cane sugar, coconut sugar, and applesauce, which is going to be our egg replacer in this recipe. Use a hand mixer or stand mixer until completely smooth. Next, we're going to melt together vegan unsalted butter along with some dairy-free dark chocolate. Most dark chocolate is dairy-free naturally, so just check the ingredients and look out for any milk or cream. Mix until smooth and then combine with the applesauce mixture. Now add dry ingredients and fold until you get a nice cookie dough. It's going to be a little runnier than regular cookie dough, so use a cookie scoop and give it plenty of space to spread in the oven. After they're out of the oven, add some vegan chocolate chips if you'd like, and enjoy.
These Cookie Monster cookies with chocolate stuffed in the middle are the most insane cookies you'll ever make. Start off by melting 1 1/2 sticks of butter and then add 3/4 cup of brown sugar and a half cup of white sugar. Cream it all together till it's nice and fluffy, then crack in 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. Add in some vanilla and a bunch of blue food coloring. Mix in 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix it together until a beautiful dough forms, then add in 1 cup of chocolate chips and 1 cup of white chocolate chips. Pat the dough out into a big ball, then add some Hershey's chocolate in the center. And chill those dough balls for at least 4 hours. Bake at 350 for 20 minutes, and there you have the most insane cookies you will ever make.
Let's make 5 6-ingredient nut butter cookies. So good, plant-based, and gluten-free. In a bowl, mash 3 ripe bananas and add 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Add 1 cup of nut butter, I'm using almond, and stir it all together. Add a pinch of salt, 2 cups and 1/3 of rolled oats, and stir it once again. Add 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips. Scoop out your cookies onto a lined baking sheet. Preheat your oven at 350 and bake for 18 to 20 minutes until nice and light and golden. Enjoy!